Kentucky's Red River Gorge is already one of the most mysterious places in America. With its deep forests, towering cliffs, hidden rock shelters, and dark cave systems, it feels like a place where secrets could stay buried for centuries. But what if some of those secrets were never fully buried at all? Deep inside remote cave areas and rock shelters in and around Kentucky, strange markings and symbols have been reported for years. Some people believe they are ancient Native American symbols. Others think they could be later carvings, forgotten trail signs, ritual marks, or even something far more mysterious. The truth is, no one knows for sure, and that is what makes this story so fascinating. Today, we are diving into the mystery of the cave paintings in Kentucky's Red River Gorge, symbols hidden in stone, messages from the past, and a puzzle that still has no clear answer. Imagine hiking through the rugged wilderness of Red River Gorge. The air is cool, the trees are thick, and the sandstone cliffs rise like giant walls all around you. There are narrow paths, hidden hollows, and dark openings in the rock that seem to lead into another world. This part of Kentucky has long been known for its natural beauty, but it is also known for something else: its feeling of age. When people walk through the gorge, many say it feels ancient, like humans have been passing through this place for thousands of years. And in many ways, that feeling is true. Kentucky has a long and rich prehistoric history. Archaeologists know that native peoples lived in and traveled through this region long before European settlers arrived. Caves and rock shelters across Kentucky were often used for protection, storage, ceremony, or temporary shelter. In some parts of the state, real rock carvings called petroglyphs have been documented, including the well-known Redbird River petroglyphs, which show that unusual carved symbols do exist in Kentucky's archaeological record. Those carvings have even been described as being unlike many other known Kentucky petroglyphs. That is why stories about mysterious cave paintings or strange symbols in and around Red River Gorge continue to capture people's imagination. According to local stories, hikers, amateur explorers, and curious visitors have occasionally reported seeing odd shapes: lines, circles, crosses, and figures on stone surfaces deep inside rock shelters or cave-like formations. Some say the markings look intentional and old. Others say they look too unusual to be random scratches. A few people even describe them as if they were symbols from some forgotten code. Now, it is important to be careful here. Red River Gorge is full of legends, and not every story is backed by official records. Some markings in wild areas can be natural stains, erosion patterns, modern graffiti, or simple scratches made over time. But that uncertainty is exactly what gives this mystery its power. If even a small number of these reported symbols are real and ancient, then who made them? Why were they placed so deep in these hidden spaces? And what were they meant to say? Some researchers and local history lovers believe that if authentic symbols were found in the region, they could be linked to Native American groups who once moved through Kentucky long before written history in the area. Across North America, rock art has often been used to mark sacred places, hunting stories, spiritual beliefs, warnings, territory, or important events. A symbol carved or painted on stone might not have been art in the modern sense. It may have been a message, a ritual mark, or part of a larger story only understood by the people who made it. That idea becomes even more interesting when you think about the location. Red River Gorge is not just a random landscape. It is filled with cliffs, arches, hidden passages, and remote rock shelters that can feel almost cathedral-like. Ancient people may have seen these places as spiritually important. A dark cave or isolated rock shelter could have been the perfect place for ceremony, storytelling, or sacred symbolism. If symbols were placed deep inside these spaces, maybe they were not meant for everyone to see. Maybe they were meant only for certain people, elders, shamans, travelers, or members of a ritual group. But not everyone agrees with the ancient origin theory. Some skeptics argue that many so-called mysterious cave paintings are probably much newer than people think. Over the centuries, settlers, hunters, miners, moonshiners, and adventurers all moved through the Kentucky wilderness. It is very possible that some symbols could have been made by early frontiersmen, hidden groups, or even pranksters. A strange mark on a cave wall might look ancient, but without proper dating and professional study, it is almost impossible to know. And this is where the mystery becomes frustrating. Many of the reported symbols in places like Red River Gorge are not part of widely published, well-documented archaeological discoveries. Some stories come from word of mouth. Some come from old local tales. Some are shared in forums by hikers or in regional storytelling. That means there is often no exact location, no clear photographs, and no official excavation report. One person's ancient symbol may be another person's weather stain or modern carving. In a place as wild and remote as the Gorge, stories can spread fast and facts can be hard to pin down. Still, the mystery refuses to die. Part of the reason is that Red River Gorge truly feels like a place where forgotten things could survive. The area has countless hidden spaces. Even today, many people know that caves and rock openings exist throughout the region, though cave access is often restricted for safety and to protect bat populations. Locals and outdoor communities have noted that there are many cave entrances and hidden rock shelters in the area, but they also warn people not to enter them because of dangers and conservation concerns. That matters because it means the landscape itself supports the legend. In a place with so many hidden corners, it is easy to imagine something being overlooked for generations. A remote wall covered in faint markings. A shelter tucked behind trees. A symbol seen once and then never found again. Even if most reports turn out to be misunderstandings, the environment makes the story believable. Another interesting part of this mystery is the difference between carvings and paintings. People often use the words loosely, but archaeologists separate them. Petroglyphs are carved into rock. Pictographs are painted onto it, often using pigments like red ochre, charcoal, or clay mixtures. If real painted symbols existed in the Gorge, that would raise even bigger questions. Paint can fade, wash away, or be damaged more easily than carved stone. So if traces of paint survived in a cave-like shelter, they might have been protected from weather for a very long time. That would make them incredibly important, but also incredibly hard to study without expert examination. There's also the human side of the story. Why are we so drawn to mysteries like this? Maybe because ancient symbols speak to something deep inside us. When we see a strange shape on stone, we immediately want it to mean something. We want it to be a message from the past. We want to believe someone stood there hundreds or even thousands of years ago, held a tool or pigment in their hand, and left behind a mark for reasons we can only guess. It reminds us that history is not always neat and complete. Sometimes history is broken, scattered, and half-hidden in the dark, and then there are the more dramatic theories. Some people claim the symbols could point to hidden ceremonial sites. Others think they may mark ancient travel routes through the wilderness. A few even go further and suggest lost treasure legends, secret societies, or unknown groups who used the caves long after prehistoric times. These ideas are exciting, but most of them have little hard evidence. Still, they keep the story alive because once a mystery enters local folklore, it grows. Each retelling adds a little more darkness, a little more wonder, and a little more fear. There is also the problem of damage. Even if unusual markings are real, places like this are fragile. Graffiti, vandalism, weathering, and careless exploration can destroy clues forever. That is one reason many real archaeological sites are kept quiet. Experts often avoid sharing exact locations of sensitive rock art because once a site becomes famous, it can be damaged within days. If there really are hidden symbols somewhere in or near the Gorge, that secrecy may be one reason the public knows so little. So where does that leave us? We know Kentucky has a real history of ancient rock markings. We know caves and shelters have been used by humans in the region for a very long time. We know Red River Gorge is the kind of place where old stories and hidden places naturally create legends. And we know that reports of strange symbols continue to appear in conversations, local tales, and mystery circles. But what we do not know is the most important part: which markings are genuine, how old they are, who made them, and what they were trying to say. That uncertainty is the heart of the mystery. Maybe the symbols were made by native peoples for sacred or practical reasons. Maybe they were left by early settlers who disappeared into the wilderness. Maybe they are misunderstood natural shapes that our brains want to turn into meaning. Or maybe somewhere in the hidden stone corridors of Red River Gorge, there really is a forgotten wall of markings waiting for the right person to document it properly. And that is what makes this story so powerful. It is not just about cave paintings. It is about the idea that the land still remembers things we do not. It is about how nature can hide human history so well that all that remains are whispers, rumors, and strange lines on stone. In a world where almost everything feels mapped, scanned, and explained, places like Red River Gorge remind us that mystery still exists. So the next time you see photos of Kentucky's cliffs, arches, and shadowy rock shelters, remember this: somewhere among those silent sandstone walls, there may be messages from the past that nobody alive can fully understand. Symbols carved or painted by hands long gone. Marks that survive storms, time, and forgetting. And until those symbols are properly studied, if they ever are, the cave paintings of Red River Gorge will remain one of Kentucky's most haunting unsolved mysteries.